Welcome everyone. As long as we have finished the book in the last lesson, today we are going to start the revision of our book. We have 3 modules of this book. We have, in each module we have 2 units. We will start today with revising Unit 1 and Unit 2. But let's firstly start with an overview of this unit. We will start from the first page where we talked about the advent of that dictionary. لما تكلمنا عن رحلة الدictionary. This is a reading lesson. We learned in this reading lesson a lot of things. We started by discussing the pre-reading questions. Then we learned some words like acquiring, compilation, cornerstone, concise, comprehensive, and advancement. We matched each word with the proper definition or the proper meaning or its synonym. تكلمنا عنه كلمات مثل acquiring معناها اكتساب اللي هي getting، أو compilation اللي هي تجميع أو يعني وضع أكثر من شيء في شيء واحد، cornerstone اللي هو حجر الزاوية، concise اللي هو بشكل مختصر وسريع، comprehensive اللي هو الشيء المكثف الcomplete، والadvancement اللي هو improvement أو التقدم. بعد كذا تعرفنا على كلمات أخرى مثل الكلمات اللي بالأصفر وكلمات أيضا إضافية داخل النص. Then we discussed this text or this paragraph, the advent of the dictionary. After this lesson, we went to the vocabulary where we had a lot of words that easily confused. Then there was a lesson about using the words in and out of. We learned how to say in advance or in brief, and also in time, out of order or in order, and so on. There were many words, we learned how to use them properly. Then we went to this section where we put each word of them in the right or in the correct gap. After that, we had a grammar lesson. It was about the infinitive and adding the ing. After that, there was a listening lesson, then a vocabulary where we learned how to say the right name of an occupation by adding suffixes like er, or, ist, and ian. Let's take, for example, in this table we have mathematics, direct, report, produce, instruct, plumb, politics, science, art, type, electricity, and operate. These are words. الكلمات هذه أسماء أشياء يعني في الحياة، مثل هذه السياسة، العلم، الفن، الكهرباء، إلى آخره. ممكن نحول الأسماء هذه أو الأشياء هذه إلى مهن. We can turn them into occupation by adding some suffixes. الsuffix هي الإضافة اللي تضاف إلى نهاية الكلمة تغير موقعها الإعرابي. It turns it's part of a speech. نضيف واحدة من الكلمات هذه er, or, ist, and ian. مثلا من ضمن الكلمات اللي تاخذ er كلمة reporter أو كلمة plumber أو producer، واضح؟ كلمة or مثل operator, director, instructor، واضح؟ After that we had a grammar lesson about the modal verbs plus have and plus past participle, like saying you should have come to the school early, you shouldn't have told your brother about this, and so on. After that we had a speaking lesson, then the writing part where we talked about writing a book review. Then today we have this our lesson today. It is a roundup. In the roundup we are trying to revise everything that we have learned in the first and the second unit. Okay, so what should you have do at this point? You should go back to the beginning of Unit 1 and start revising, start studying again to get a retention for each information that you have learned. Then you can start doing these exercises. يعني عند وصولك النقطة هذه من الدروس مفترض أنك تعود إلى بداية الوحدة الأولى والثانية، تقوم بمراجعة سريعة، تحاول تستذكر قواعد الجرامر، قواعد الكتابة، قواعد أو الأفكار اللي تعلمتها بسبيكينج. أيضا تحاول تستذكر المفردات الجديدة، كيفية ربطهم، كيفية وضعهم في جمل، بحيث أنك تستطيع أنك تختبر نفسك ومدى فهمك ومدى استيعابك الأفكار الموجودة في هذه الوحدتين عبر حل التمارين الموجودة في الراوند اب الخاص في Unit 1 and 2. We will start doing the roundup with this exercise. It says choose a word or phrase that most appropriately complete the sentence. عندنا المثال الأول scientists، هذه غالبا متعلقة في دروس الفوكابولري. يعني مثلا في المثال الأول عندنا كلمة عندنا جملة scientists from all over the globe use this lab because it has technology. طيب احنا وين الإجابة الصحيحة اللي عندنا؟ Scientists from all over the globe use this lab because it has up-to-date technology. Up-to-date يعني تكنولوجيا محدثة، تكنولوجيا جديدة متطورة. Number 2, this competition is for artists rather than well-known ones. Emerging اللي هم الناشئين اللي لسه في أول الطريق. You can't use this machine. I'm afraid it's out of order. If you have some extra money set aside, you should in stock market. stock market أحيانا ترجمتك للجملة، أو إذا كان في كلمات جديدة في الجملة ترجمتك للجملة يعني تقطع عليك نصف أو أكثر من نصف طريق الإجابة. stock market اللي هو سوق الأسهم، فإحنا واضح عندنا أن الإجابة invest اللي هو تستثمر. Number 5, they are offering a or an of $50,000 for information on the bank robbers. It's a reward. Number 6, I always use dictionary to look up of unknown words. Look up to search for. أبحث عن. Etymology of the unknown words. Number 7, I was relieved when the doctor told me that my blood pressure was. blood pressure اللي هو ضغط الدم was قبل الإجابة يعني عشان نفهم الفكرة. I was relieved يعني شعرت بارتياح. طيب وش الكلمة المناسبة هنا؟ كلمة normal. واضح؟ I really liked that book because the main had similar personality to me. Similar personality to me يعني شخصية مناسبة أو مقاربة أو مشابهة لشخصيتي. فالإجابة الأقرب هنا اللي هي إجابة character اللي هو الشخصية الرئيسية the main character. Number 9, the of the novel was very confusing and hard to follow. Very confusing, that means it is not easy to understand. اللي هي شيء المشوش أو الشيء المربك. and hard to follow إنه صعب يعني فهمه. الplot. It was easy to see that Oliver had a very knowledge of international affairs, limited knowledge of international affairs. Okay, now we have a grammar exercise. In this exercise, we will revise the grammar lessons that we have already taken in the past. We have 10 sentences. We will start with the first one. Tony was talking to his boss, had just returned from a trip abroad. Who? Because we said that we use who to talk or to refer to somebody, to a person. نستعمل who. عندنا 3 كلمات اللي هو who, which, where. احنا نستعمل who to refer to somebody. We use which to refer to things or animals. And we use where to refer to the places. Number 2, you, Kate, before she found out. Now it's too late. You should have told. Number 3, stop pretending to be confused. You are smart enough what I'm talking about to understand. Emily couldn't help that long walk had exhausted her grandmother. Noticing. You change out of your wet clothes, otherwise you will catch a cold. 6, the hotel I stayed in was very comfortable. Which? The book by Al-Ma'ri is definitely worth reading. being written, writing, having, written, and written. Written by Almari. 8. Ibrahim claims Rafael Nadal's best friend. Obviously, no one believes him. To be. Ibrahim claims to be Rafael Nadal's best friend. After a serious argument last year, they stopped to each other. They stopped talking to each other. The last one, number 10. You, Colin, driving a red Porsche. He doesn't know how to drive. Can't have seen. You can't have seen Colin driving a red Porsche. He doesn't know how to drive. Okay, now we will move to the next page. In this page, we will have the first exercise, which is related to the writing lesson. In this exercise, if you notice that we will rewrite the sentences in different way. We will paraphrase the sentences. يعني سنعيد كتابة الكلمات by using the words on the right side. في الجهة اليمنى في كلمات مكتوبة، مثلا كلمة prevent, forward, ought, were, by, denied, whose, and having. بنحاول نستعمل الكلمات هذه بأفضل طريقة ممكنة بحيث أنه نعيد كتابة الجملة بشكل كامل. طيب، الجملة الأولى عندنا she can't wait for her holiday to begin in 4 weeks time. She is looking forward to her holiday beginning in 4 weeks time. الكلمات اللي موضوعة بين الأقواس they can be omitted. يعني كلمة قابلة للحذف، ممكن تحذف ممكن تبقى كما هي. Number 2, we couldn't go camping last weekend because it was very wet. Prevented اللي معناها نتجنب. The wet weather prevented us from going camping last weekend. Number 3, the wedding dress was supposed to be ready yesterday. Ought to be. Ought means something that must have been. يعني يتوجب على انه يحصل الشيء هذا. The wedding dress ought to have been ready. Number 4, my father works in that office block. We have to use the word where. So the answer is that's the office block where my father works. Number 5, the famous architect Frank Lloyd Wright designed this house and it's magnificent. This house, the famous architect Frank Lloyd Wright, is magnificent. Okay, the word we ought to use here is the word is by. لازم نستعمل كلمة by. طيب, this house that was or which was designed by the famous architect Frank Lloyd Wright is magnificent. Number 6, the accused man said that he hadn't stolen the car. He hadn't stolen the car يعني لم يسرق السيارة. الكلمة اللي نحتاج نستخدمها كلمة denied يعني أنكر. The accused man the car. So the answer is the accused man denied stealing or having stolen the car. Number 7, Mr. Howard is a lawyer and his son works in a bank. Mr. Howard, bank, is a lawyer. Okay, we have to use the word whose, so the answer is Mr. Howard, whose son works in bank, is a lawyer. The last one, number 8, only people who have a special pass will be allowed to enter. In this part, we have to use the word having. So, people will not be allowed to enter. The answer is people not having a special pass will not be allowed to enter. The last part of our lesson today is to read the text and complete blanks with the correct form of the words in capital. Installation art. If you can notice on the right side of the page, we have around 7 or 8 or 10 words that are written as as verbs. Okay, we have to turn these verbs or to add suffixes to these verbs so they suit the sentences or suit the context properly, or they fit in the context properly. Number one, the word require. Number two, define, stimulate, view, interact, inform, enjoy, create, visit, and combine. We will read the text and answer the questions. Installation art describes a type of using three-dimensional space. The only is that the artwork transforms the space it is presented in. The only, we add here MENT, so it becomes the only requirement. معناها المتطلب الوحيد. The requirement اللي هو الشيء المطلوب من الشخص أو الشيء. It is a genre that has changed the of what we usually consider art. Define تصبح definition. It has changed the definition of what we usually consider art. الديفينيشن اللي هو التعريف، غيرت، يعني يقصد بالجملة أنه غير التعريف ما أصبح متعارفا عليه كفن. بعدها exhibits can be permanent or temporary, and they can appear in galleries but sometimes also in public spaces. Installation art doesn't involve only visual. Stimulate معناها يحفز أو يعني نعم يحفز. Visual aids stimulation. Visual aids stimulation. Number four, the often has to use different senses at once. The viewer. الفيور اللي هو المشاهد. The viewer often has to use different senses at once, not only sight but hearing, smell and touch, making the whole experience more interactive. More interactive يعني أكثر تفاعلية. interact يعني كلمة وحيدة معناها فعل هي. It's a verb, means to collaborate or communicate or with someone. طيب إنه تتفاعل مع شخص، لكن لما interactive أو شيء التفاعلي كصفة هنا. Some installation art uses video and sound and can be very informative. Informative إنه يعني غنية بالمعلومات ومثرية. Whereas other works can be quite enjoyable. Enjoyable يعني ممتع. يعني فيقصد هنا إنه we have two types. It can be informative or it can be enjoyable. After that, we have in number 8, among many cities in the world that pioneer in installation art, Jeddah stands out as a fascinating open-air museum which features countless by installation artists all over the city. We have here the word creations. Creations اللي هي الإبداعات. Countless creations يعني إبداعات لا معدودة. Among the biggest names in installation art, we must mention the renowned Saudi artist Abdel Nasser Gharim, who created a magnificent installation called Message or Messenger, which was sold for almost $850,000. Another significant artist in Belgian, Karsten Holler, who created 5 large metal slides that people could slide down for free at the Tate Modern. Equally significant is the Danish artist Olafur Eliasson, who installed a glowing sun in the huge turbine hall with a mirror covering the ceiling. Where visit, هنا we can add OR so it becomes visitors. Where visitors اللي هم الزوار could see their tiny black shadows against the yellow light. The room was also filled with a mist of sugar and water. A combination اللي هو الخليط أو المركبات of sugar and water, and those visiting responded to the work by laying on the floor and looking up at themselves. Now, by finishing this activity, we have finished today roundup or the roundup of the first module. See you tomorrow, inshallah, with the model of the roundup of module 2. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and you learned something and you revised your information. Thank you all for listening and coming to this lesson. Enjoy the rest of the day and salam alaikum.